It all began when Thanos, in his quest for universe domination, lost the Infinity Stones in a game of intergalactic poker to a squid-headed alien named Zorb. Zorb, who had a soft spot for earthly trinkets, traded them to Tuco for a shiny spoon collection. Yes, folks, the fate of the cosmos was traded for spoons. Tuco, intrigued by the shiny stones, did what any self-respecting meth dealer would do. He tried to snort them. Little did he, these were no ordinary rocks. With the first sniff, a rush of power surged through Tuco. He exclaimed, "Tight, tight! Real tight! This stuff kicks like a mule with its balls wrapped in duct tape." Yes, it was the Power Stone. Suddenly, Tuco's bell-ringing arm could punch through walls. Then, the Space Stone, and he could teleport from his grandmother's house to his meth lab in seconds. The Reality Stone gave him the power to turn his enemies into chickens. He used more than you'd think. The Soul Stone gave him a sudden, deep understanding of his grandmother's telenovelas. The Time Stone allowed him to make the perfect meth batch mere seconds. And finally, the Mind Stone, which gave him the ability to... well, it didn't do much. Tuco's mind remained as chaotic as ever. Meanwhile, Thanos, realizing his loss, was on a rampage. He tracked the stones to Earth, ready to reclaim them, but what he found was beyond his preparation. Tuco, hopped up on cosmic power, was ready. The ensuing battle was monumental. Chickens clucked around Thanos as Tuco teleported in and out, delivering powerful punches. Meth batches were completed at lightning speed, distracting Thanos with their potent smell. In the climax of this cosmic face-off, Tuco channeled a surge of power through his fist. He darted forward, teleporting just behind Thanos. With an anguished roar, Tuco slammed his fist into the Mad Titan's back, sending him hurtling across the barren landscape. A distressed groan escaped Thanos' lips as he struggled to rise, his armor shattered and strewn around him. Thanos, the once mighty Titan, looked up at Tuco, his eyes hollow with defeat. "I am inevitable," he gasped, echoing his own words from a different timeline, a different fight. Tuco's response was cold, his eyes glinting with determination. "Maybe so," he said, "but not today." Before delivering the final blow, Tuco took one last snort of a powder cocktail of the Infinity Stones. "Tight, tight," he exclaimed, the power surging through him. With those words, Tuco plunged his hand into Thanos' chest, pulling out his glowing heart. Amidst the chaos, Tuco finally understood why his grandmother loved her telenovelas so much. In the end, Thanos was defeated, not by brute force or strategic planning, but by the sheer unpredictability of a meth dealer on a cosmic high. Our anti-hero, Tuco, had saved the cosmos, proving once and for all that you should never underestimate the power of a man with a bell and a spoon collection. So, the next time you gaze up at the stars, remember, it's not just the cosmos out there. It's also the playground of a meth-loving, bell-ringing hero who once snorted his way to saving the universe. Now, isn't that a cosmic conundrum worth pondering? In the quiet stillness of the desert, Tuco stood alone, the dust of the epic battle settling around him. The Infinity Stones, once the source of unimaginable power, lay scattered at his feet. He looked at them, a sense of awe and fear washing over him. He had wielded their power, and he had caused chaos. He had saved the universe, but at what cost? He looked around the barren landscape, the silence deafening after the cacophony of the battle. He bent down, picked up the stones, and with a determined look on his face, began to dig. He knew the power these stones held, the danger they posed. He couldn't allow them to fall into the wrong hands again, so he buried them, one by one, deep in the desert sand, marking their location only in his mind. When he was done, he stood up, dusted off his hands, and looked at the horizon. It was time to go back to his simple life of meth dealing, bell ringing, and trying to stay one step ahead of the law. And so, Tuco, the meth dealer turned cosmic savior, returned to his life of spoons and bells, leaving the Infinity Stones buried in the desert, a secret only he knew. The irony was not lost on him, but it was a burden he was willing to bear, for the universe, for the cosmos, for the cosmic conundrum he had become a part of. Tuco, once a simple meth dealer, had evolved into something far beyond his wildest dreams, the improbable guardian of the universe. The Infinity Stones, symbols of unparalleled power, were now entrusted to him, buried deep in the desert, their location known only to him. It was a big responsibility, one that he had to shoulder along with the burden of dodging the law and managing his beloved spoon collection. Tuco wasn't a superhero with shining armor, but his dedication to his new role was as unshakable as his affection for spoons. And so the universe continued to evolve, its fate now tied to a former meth dealer who has stepped up to preserve its well-being with an unassuming collection of spoons by his side. Voiceover. In the grand scheme of things, it's not about riches and power. It's about the choices we make, the lives we touch, and the strength we find within ourselves. Let the lessons of Tuco not go forgotten. A lesson that it's not always the powerful who rule the cosmos. Sometimes it's the humble, the unlikely, the ones we least expect who are called to humble the strong. So remember, as you navigate through your own universe, it's not about the power you possess, but the strength you find within yourself, just like Tuco, your humble spoon collector of the cosmos.